Hey YouTube family, this is Francie with Finding Joy, and I wanted to share with you some of the cleanup I've been doing on the van floor and a water issue that I have discovered. So stay tuned and please watch. Okay, so I got up looking at the van a little bit, and I'm pulling up this, and there's a lot of condensation built up on the bottom of this mat, which is making the insulation wet. So I'm not sure why that's happening, except that maybe this is not the right insulation. So here's where mildew has built up, which means the water has been here for a while. And I put everything back in, and I don't know, you can see how dirty everything was and where it was wet. These are just pictures to show you all the dirt in there. Have to get the tire out of the way, which I did. I cleaned that up. And I sprayed bleach on that, but it's still there. But it looks so much better being vacuumed out. There's my little stool to help. I started using the brush because it picked up the pieces more, but there was a lot of dirt and nails and screws. But it's looking clean. Alright, so here is the floor vacuumed, and hopefully I got as much of the dirt out as I can, as far as what I can stand to do anyway. A lot of dirt in the corners. I'm so glad. First of all, this wasn't glued to the floor, so it just lifts right out. So I will put it right back in. You know, there's a lot of, it's really about confidence and overcoming fears when you do stuff like this, because you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that because of this or that, and we get fearful of so many things. But it's all right. It will go back in, and it may not go back in, you know, really easy, but you know what? I'll do it. Right now I have it sitting out in the sun so that wet spot can dry. There's only one wet spot. It's really weird because, you know, there's no leaks. And I've had this van when it rained, and I looked and it didn't show any rain coming in. So who knows? They could have power washed it or something, you know, when they were cleaning it. And water got under, and it just is never dried. So I don't know, but let me show you how much dirt was in this. So before I started, I emptied my thing, and that's how much dirt was in the floor. So I'm so glad I didn't just, you know, go ahead and go over this floor. It's not a new van, so it's going to be dirty and a lot of stuff under here, but everything is a step to getting this van built out. And the floor is probably one of the first things. I ordered some sound barrier things, not very much. I ordered what I could afford, and I'm definitely going to put it on the wheels, and I'll see how much I have after I put it on the wheels, to put it on the sides of the walls. So hopefully I can save this insulation. Let's go look at the floor mat. And for the most part, most of it is dry, and it's just really wet right there in that area. So I'm gonna let it stay out here. It should dry pretty quick in the sun. And yeah, it's not the clean, it's really dirty up here, or this is what's in the back. So, you know, part of me gets tempted just to buy, I'd probably take one foam board to do this, actually. It would not be that expensive. I don't know. You just never know what to do and what the best thing is to do. But all of this will be under plywood. But I just got to make sure it's dry so we don't have mildew. There is some mildew. I sprayed it with some, see, there it is right there. I sprayed it with some bleach solution, so I might spray it again because
it's not leaving. I could always cut it out. I don't know. That's what I work on today. I need to take a break. Bladder's feeling better, and that's usually what gets me up and going. But I need to be careful. I'm not supposed to lift. And I had to get that stupid tire out of the back of the van, which is easy to take it down. You know, I know enough physics. I can get it down without lifting. But to get it back up, I have some ideas where I'm not lifting so much. All right. I have backed the van back where it was originally parked. I'm trying to make myself back it up more. Right now I'm just parking it in my little parking lot, and I just make sure like there's nobody over on the other side, so I can pull in there and just kind of straight back up. But also trying to look in my mirrors and see what they show me, and I'm not doing too bad, but it's been pretty easy. And I'll probably always look for the easy way to do things. And I'm very red because I'm very hot, and that's just what I've always done. I used to play basketball, and people would always think something was wrong with me because I'd get so red. So, a little job done. I'm going to go inside and sit for a few hours, and then I'll come back out and see if the insulation is dry, and I'll put it back in the van. And the van is in the shade right now. Well, I had it parked in the sun so I could reach my vacuum with 2 extension cords, yeah. But I was also blocking the neighbor, so if she wanted to go somewhere, she wasn't going to be able to get out, so I needed to get it done and get out of the way. So I did. All right, I'm going to go rest a little bit. I did try to make today a day that I don't leave. I really wanted to go to storage and kind of put things in the van and see how things look, you know. Well, that last video got cut off from a phone call from a friend of mine in Texas, so had to take that. Okay, so I got this back in, and you know, I've been thinking about this. I honestly think I may just throw all this out. It's dirty, and yeah, I don't know. It's just been on my mind. But I wanted to show you where this water is. If you look here, this is where it gets wet. It's wet here because I sprayed some bleach stuff right here. It's still wet. But I had a fan blowing on it yesterday. So yeah, and it takes a long time for insulation. You can still see the bleach stuff. For insulation to dry. But I want it completely dry. I'm going to turn this fan on this spot. Yeah. I want it completely dry so I can tell when it gets wet again. Doing some research. One thing that could be making it get wet is if the air conditioner drain pipe is clogged. And so I'm going to have them check that. I mean, even if I have to pay for them to unclog it, whatever it takes, because I can't do the floor if water's going to be coming in. And it rained. We had a lot of rain, and it's not wet. It's not leaking anywhere. The floor is not wet. You know, the floor is dry. So yeah, and you're not going to see like a big trickle of water come because this insulation is going to absorb it, and then it will come to this other insulation when it's too much. I don't know. I wish it would be something so simple that they just spilt some water, and so I called the place and I asked, you know, why would this be wet? Well, they didn't know. So if they don't know, then it's got to be another problem. So just want to make sure this is, and you know, humidity does not help. I think that's another thing with this. I don't know that this insulation is good with humidity, and the rubber keeps getting condensation. Even when it was outside, it had built up condensation. So I was watching one video. Some people don't put insulation on the ground, and especially with the short van, if I put insulation, and then you put, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch
plywood while you're raising your floor, which, you know, there's your ceiling. So you already can't stand up. So every little inch you take, or half inch, is less room to be able to stand. So I have to really think about that. I could put the sound barrier things in between each of these, and I've seen people do that, and then they just glue the plywood on the raised part, and that gives it airflow, which I guess is supposed to be a good thing. So it's a lot to think about, but I can't even do a floor until I know where this water's coming from. It's so frustrating. So, and to even look, I mean, to tear all this up, that is a huge ordeal. Huge ordeal. Then if you look here, this is all nicely sealed. You know, you don't want to tear all this apart unless you know what you're doing and can put it all back together. So my understanding is the pipe or whatever to drain runs, I think, down, and it's supposed to go underneath here. Let's look on the engine, I'll show you. Okay, so this box right here is in front of the air conditioner thing. And I watched a video and they always make it look so easy. Well, just take this out and clean out any leaves that you have, because see how it's connected to the dash. So if any leaves have collected, they would all be built up in there, and they could be covering this thing behind here. And then you're supposed to like vacuum out the pipes that drain, and so the drain's supposed to go down through there. Okay, now to get this out, I just don't know that I want to try this. I'm gonna close this video out. I didn't want to just leave it hanging there. So anyway, you'll be hearing a lot of talk about my van and some brainstorming ideas and ideas about what this water could be or couldn't be, and just my research and investigating to try and figure it out on my own. And so anyway, all right, y'all find joy, and be blessed, and I'll talk to you later.